So about 1 month ago, I started my journey into the Galactic Legends for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and I wanted to do a quick check-in video just to show you guys in about a month as a free-to-play player where I'm at. And so a couple things to start. We did have some new ships come in. We had the where was it? The new TIE Fighter. I'm sorry, the new Y-Wing, first of all. So I did kind of chase this a little bit. It worked out okay in terms of, getting materials for relic levels. But that was sort of diversion as far as gear in terms of, where I was heading for that. It didn't really hurt my farm, I think, in general, but just today they released the farm for the TIE Bomber. And so again, that's going to be another thing where I'm going to be farming up more relic materials instead of gear. I don't think it's really going to matter at the end, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I think the bottlenecks really, in terms of farming these heroes for a free-to-play player, are going to be you're going to relic gear. So you know, let's take a look here. Um, so your items like these right here, where we're farming up flawed signal data and we're farming up other signal data, and then your fragmented signal data, those really are going to be the bottleneck at the relic level. Then you got your stun guns and surprisingly carbonantes, is that how you say that, have come up as a problem as well. Like the first order stormtrooper just eats these things. So he's got one here. I mean, he's got one on virtually every level of this. And I hadn't actually leveled up this character before we started this venture, and I was like shocked when I got to gear 9. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of carbs. It is what it is, though, and so with that diversion more toward relic stuff and trying to farm these new ships, it's just going to slow those things down a bit. Luckily, carbs we get fairly quickly through the various challenges and the day-to-day stuff, so I'm not as worried about that. But it is a thing. So where are we? Let's take a look here. At my farm. So last video, the very first or the very last thing I did is I took unmasked Kylo to Relic 1, and as you can see now, I've got him all the way up to Relic 7. At that time, he was the only character I actually had at a Relic level in the First Order. So it's been about a month and 2 days, something like that, and you can see that I've actually made some progress in terms of where we were at. You can see I've finished off Hux. He's actually Relic 4. I'm almost, well, I just Relic 4'd him last night, so he's going to be heading to Relic 5, which I think is his cap, so that will be good to get that done. Progress is being made on his ship. Another thing is I got Unmasked Kylo up to 7, so this was something I did note. As we're working on this new ship, which is a requirement, you need to take it to star level 5, I believe it was. Um, having Unmasked Kylo Ren's ship available and that extra damage was nice, because the first time I tried this, it was super like tedious, and I had to run it a few times. The next time I did it, no problem at all. So I got that next 10 shards with no problem. His event's coming up in a few more days. I'll get to 30. So he'll be done in, the next, I guess, month and a half or so. So I'm not worried about the finalizer in terms of a ship. It will be nice, though, to have, Hux already relicked for this ship. It's just going to be a nice bonus of it, right? I don't know how good the ship is going to be in the long run, but having this character, it just opens up. It sounds, I mean, from the looks of it, they're spending time on ships. This new TIE Bomber coming out and the other Y-Wing coming out, obviously they're trying to fill some gaps. So that is a nice bonus. If you're farming for Rey, you've got the same thing on the other side with the Resistance, with the new ship on that side, the Radis. And as you can see, I've not done anything there. So if I ever do decide to go after Rey, that'll be a nice side effect of that as well. So what am I thinking of the farm in general? It's not been, getting these characters to relic levels. Captain Phasma was a super easy relic. I was surprised how easy it was to get her there. The game now in terms of farming isn't where it used to be, just to get characters up to 7 stars. That seems to be secondary, really, in the scheme of things. Gear and relic levels are the real pain. Mods, obviously, once you get them into a team, have been, always those are the 3 primary bottlenecks, I think, for the game. Stun guns, again, you can see I'm for the First Order Executioner is going to be waiting on, actually, I'm sorry, he's waiting on Kyrotech. Same thing, or I'm sorry, Sith Trooper, though, is going to be waiting on a stun gun, as well as several of these other characters. So I think there's a stun gun in here. We're waiting on carbs for this guy. Let's see. Oops, let me go back to my squad view here. But anyways, as you can see, it is going to be, those are the main bottlenecks: stun guns, carbs, and Kyrotech, trying to get these up to gear levels, and then obviously the relic materials themselves. Luckily, I've been playing since the game released, which means I'm able to kind of break down my gear and fill out the rest of the parts of the relic level, so I don't anticipate that being a problem. I don't think, one mistake I've made so far is I inadvertently, when I went to Relic 7, killed some Kyrotech in the scavenger, so that was unfortunate. I think I burnt like 100 shards of Kyrotech, so that was definitely a setback. I'd probably have, the First Order Executioner ready to go had I not done that. So live and learn, be careful, mark, lock your stuff that you want to salvage to make sure you're not sending things in a bad spot. So overall, in terms of where, we're at in terms of the characters we need, ship's not going to be a problem. Getting Unmasked Kylo Ren up to that relic tier has been a huge help. I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters in the relic tiers right now, which is good. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left to go in terms of getting the relic. I haven't started on the old Han Solo, and the other pilots I've not really started on either. So in terms of those things, over the next few weeks, I think what will eventually end up happening is I'm going to get a bunch of, I suspect what will happen is I'll get a bunch of characters to G12, and I'm just going to be literally farming Kyrotech and relic materials from then on out. So I anticipate that happening maybe by the next video. I'll probably do these videos once a month moving forward. There's not a lot of detail in between. I do have a spreadsheet that I've been keeping track of week to week. If you're interested in that, I'll put that in the description down below. If you're curious about the video that I did last time about free-to-play and going after a Galactic Legend, I'll put that above. And again, just for some reference, I'm not typically in the top, I guess, 25 or so of my shard in terms of either arena or ships. I just don't have the time to chase it. Usually I'll collect about 200-ish crystals a day based on my position. So on average, that's what I have crystal income plus my dailies and all that good stuff. So I'm definitely not one of the most hardcore players in terms of those parts of the game, but as you can see, definitely very doable if you definitely, you definitely have to keep track of what items you're spending materials on, and you have to be careful with shards and things like that. I should be more careful with Kyrotech in the future. I will be. But I am excited about one other part of this, and that's in terms of gaining some additional teams. Three versus three Grand Arena has been going on. I'm not a huge fan of the format. In general, Grand Arena sometimes comes down to some just really bad crits and things happening, and I don't know. It's not really an established meta, so it's weird. Maybe I'm just uncomfortable because it's new and I'm used to fives. But anyways, as a whole, I'm not a big fan of threes. I think it takes a lot of time too to get through all those teams. Sometimes you're down to like the last or 2 or 3 battles to even find out if you're going to win. I guess some people find it exciting. I look at it as an investment of my time. If I'm going to spend that much time on it, I want to make sure I'm getting rewarded, and you're just not sure. I don't know. I get that's probably one of the best parts of the game right now. Threes just don't do it for me. That said, having a couple relic first order teams to throw into the front wall to make people at least have to get by it. And again, I don't think that they're super problematic to get around. They don't seem to be at all. No, I don't think anybody's even lost a game to them, but they did have to expend decent teams when I went back and looked at the history on SWGOH. So that's a benefit, right? And I think all in all, the first order in terms of where the game's at, in terms of, setting up a decent set of GAC teams, I think this is going to be a good setup overall. I'm excited to get this the what's this guy's name here, the Sith Trooper completed. I think with him and Hux and eventually having this other Kylo Ren relic, I'll have some decent teams. I think I'm hurting a lot by not having the First Order Stormtrooper completed. He's a good tank, especially in these teams, and him not being up to snuff is slowing things down. So I'm excited. In the next month and a half, we should see those things start to swing, and then I should end up with a decent set of both 5 versus 5 and 3 versus 3 squads, which I'm excited about. I'm also super excited about Palpatine. Palpatine, I think I may have mentioned in my last video, I had him at G11 forever. I just never really got around to expending the stun gun on him. I finally got him up there. I'm excited to get him to Relic 7 and just have him be a monster. Him with Fallen Bastilla, and I think the Sith Trooper is a team that they've been kind of batting around lately. There's all kinds of flavors of that, but him with his turn meter gain, being Relic 7 and actually being a little bit more sturdy, man, I'm really, really looking forward to that character getting to Relic 7. I'll probably go and relic him up next in terms of the characters I've got that I'm working on so far. It'll expand my my GAC teams out out to another level. So now I'll have, Papa Palps ready to go, as well as some first order teams where I should have, the Sith Trooper ready to go. So it'll be rounding out really, really nice. So if you're reluctant, in terms of the game to expend these resources, I think you got to look at it in terms of the broad sense of the game. If you're into, territory wars or battles, I always mix up where you fight the other guild. If you're into those, if you're into arena, and if you're into GAC. I mean, those are all great places where these teams are going to have some use. They'll be viable. There's several ships that these apply to. I'm hopeful that they'll continue to work on the ships and make them better. Like the Emperor Shuttle, they had announcement, there'll be some synergy with the new TIE Bomber. I think that's fantastic. You invested a lot of money and not money, but time and resources into getting a ship like that, and it ends up being very lackluster. So I'm excited to see them putting more of that into the game, and we'll see where it goes from there. So anyways, I'll do a video coming up in the next couple weeks to show you where I'm at as this keeps moving forward. I think my initial estimate of this was, 3 or 4 months. I'd have to go back and watch the video to see, but maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe with some more events. There was definitely that last month with the crystal editions that we got. That helped out immensely. There's been some rewards here and there that have helped as well. I'd love to see them loosen up on stun guns a bit. I'd like to see more Kyrotech, especially the sevens. Those are a real pain to farm, but all in all, very, very doable. We'll check back in again in a month. We'll see where we're at, but I just wanted to check in and show you guys where we're at with our GL Kylo farm. We'll see you guys in the next video. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I do videos for a few other games right now. Star Wars Galaxy Hero is my main game, but I also play a game called Heroes Forge, which is a much more hardcore version of this type of game. Definitely in the earlier stages of development, but I've got tons of video on the channel about that. And I also do other videos, as they come up with different games that I find are interesting, I want to pass on to you guys. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next one, and see ya.